Thank you very much for joining the channel, CCSC. We're going to do a Let's Play series, a little explanation, and a little fun, to be honest with you. We're going to do the Blackwoods map, and this map is actually based on Stockholm. So that's what we're going to go ahead and call it. We're going to call it Stockholm. We're going to do a Let's Play series, try and help you understand the game, introduce you for those of you who are new. So we're going to choose left-hand traffic, because where I am, we have left-hand traffic. On your map, most likely to be right-hand traffic. That's the majority of the world. We're going to hit next. We're not going to use the day-night cycle. You can do that if you want, but it's much easier to build during the day. We're not going to use the dynamic weather. It does give the gameplay a little bit more realism. And we're not going to do any of these unlimited. Because, as it says right there, they are cheats, and we want to play the game vanilla mode, and from the ground up. We're going to go through and teach you a few tips and tricks. If you've just gotten the game and don't know where to begin, don't feel bad. You're not the only one. Many of us have spent hours trying to understand this game, and many of us have built very, very bad maps that did not work in the beginning. So thank you for joining the channel. Please like, subscribe, and share. CCSC is more than happy to provide these videos for you. Please return the favor. It helps the channel a lot to like, subscribe, and share. So now the very first thing that you want to do with your map is you want to pause the game. It is June 15th, 2020. The very first thing you want to do is pause the game, because with the game on, you are wasting money, and right now we don't have any money. We have $70,000. That's what you start with on the game. So this is our map for Blackwoods, which again is based on Stockholm. And you can go to Google Earth and you can look at the map based on Stockholm and get a feel for it. You can see what they actually did. But with this map, we start off with this tile, and we are going to start building on this tile alone because you don't have access to any of the other tiles without cheating. However, whenever you start any map, it's a good idea to go ahead and go to your main menu. You can go to areas, and you can start to look around a little bit and kind of figure out where you want to go, how you want to go about this. A lot of that is dependent on outside connections. A lot of that is dependent on railroads, highways, or ocean connections. But if you know, that's the fun of the game. Wherever you want to build, whatever you want to do. So we're going to start on this tile, but it's always a good idea to kind of get a feel for where you're going to go and what you're thinking about. So anytime you start a new game, take a look around, try and figure some things out, and also look at the elevation of the soil. And, you know, like, so this tile over here, this tile here is pretty much on a mountain. The whole tile is. So, I mean, yeah, you could build some nice houses up there that overlook your entire city, but do you really want most of your tile to be on a mountain, or would you maybe want to go in a different direction? Anyway, we're going to get started here. Again, thank you for joining us. So the very first thing that you want to do is build a road. Now, whenever you're starting off, you only get this road. So the first thing you want to do is build a small section of road. It's going to cost you $40. And then you're going to hit Square on PS4, which is what I'm playing, Console Edition. And you're going to pull out your bulldozer, and you're going to delete that right away. Now, you only lost $10 for building something and deleting it. However, when doing that, it unlocks a lot of other roads. Now you have 4-lane roads, you have 6-lane roads. You can actually have a few roads here. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to the 1-lane road and kind of simulate this highway coming down, and we're just going to extend it a little bit. So we're going to extend this highway down by clicking onto this, and depending on the snapping options that you have, you can change them, but depending on the snapping options that you have, for the most part, it'll start you off with a direct snap. So whenever you go down, it's going to give you an even 180 degrees. If you go over, it's going to give you an even 90 degrees. It's kind of a direct snap option. Now you can adjust that, you can move, but it's going to snap to where you need to go. So we're going to come onto this, and we're going to extend it down. We're going to go, so this is 10, and this is 20. So we're going to go down 20, and then we're going to come over here, and we're going to go up 20. Now, when building a one-way road, the direction that you build the road will be the direction of the one-way. So as we went down to up, it went south to north. This one the opposite. Now, if you build it the wrong way, you can always go to change direction in your tools and click on anything, and it'll change the direction. But we're all good. All right, so the second thing that we're going to do, now since this is just a peninsula and it's not a through road, I'm not going to build a highway through this area. It is very possible that maybe, depending on what we do, if we buy this plot of land over here, we may run a bridge or a tunnel or something later. But for right now, we're just going to, all we're doing is feeding this area for traffic, this little peninsula. So we're going to do a big roundabout here. And the first thing that I like to do to make sure that the roundabout is straight is I like to do a little cheat and just grab this gravel road over here, go to the straight tool, and I'm going to connect these two with the gravel road at a 90-degree angle. Now that gives me locking nodes over here that I can actually get this just dead on, right in the middle. So then I'm going to build a little bit of road there. Now we're going to delete all that. And I understand it seems wasteful whenever you only have $70,000, but it keeps it locked straight. Now we're going to go to the curve tool, and we're going to build a roundabout. And we're going to go over, I think we're going to go over about 15. Yeah. We're going to go over 15. And down. And do the same this way. And when you get here, you can see this little shadow line that disappears and comes in. That's letting you know that you're even with what you started with. And you've got a good half circle. And going up, we're going to get the same ghost line coming from the side. And there we go. Now we have a nice roundabout, a very large roundabout, to feed traffic in and out of the town. Just this little area over here. And I'll explain that a little bit more later. But something like this, you've got two options. You can either put the highway through and you can put a little exit off, or you can just end the highway here, and that's essentially what we're doing. We're just going to do a roundabout, and anyone coming in and out of the city will be able to come in and out very quickly on this. Eventually we'll upgrade this to an actual highway road. So then we're going to grab, we're going to put some roads off to the side. Now, in the beginning, as I said, you only have $70,000, so you don't have much money. So a 6-lane road is $80 a sell, but a 4-lane road is only $60 a sell. But if you put down a 2-lane road, which is only $40 a sell, and you want to upgrade it to either a 4-lane or a 6-lane later, it's going to destroy the things that have built around it because the road is bigger. So if you want to put down a 6-lane later, but don't want to spend that much money on it right now, your best bet is to take a 4-lane and run that off, and that will cover the exact same size that you want. And that'll cover the space. Then whenever you go to upgrade it later, you're not destroying all the houses that are built along that road, and then they have to rebuild. But the first thing that we're going to do is connect the highway, and we're just going to grab this. And we're actually just going to do the straight tool. Now you can do freeform, you can do straight, you can bend it a little. But for right now, we're just going to do the straight tool. Just like that. And then we're going to do a little bit of cheat that I like to do. It saves a lot of money. And so the gravel roads are only $20 a sell. So anytime excuse me, anytime you're coming off of a roundabout like this, you don't want, so if this roundabout was here, and then you went out of 10, you don't want to put an intersection here, because your traffic's going to get stopped right there. So you want this to go kind of far. So I'm going to build all of these out 30. So anytime someone's coming on or off of this exit, they're not going to get stopped right here with a red light or anything like that. They at least have a little bit of space so that you don't get traffic backed up so bad. And we're going to do that on all 3 sides here. We're going to go out 30. And we're going to do the same thing here. Okay, and now this is just a placeholder. We're obviously not going to keep gravel roads here forever. This is just a placeholder because it's cheap and it extends the road, and then you can get on a 90-degree angle. Now once we get to this stage, you kind of need to figure out where you're going to put your industrial area, your commercial area, and your residential. And I think we're going to go ahead and make all of this down here the residential area. Over here to the, what would essentially be the east, the right, we're going to do the industrial area over here, because I have plans to turn all this farmland into our industry. I'll explain more about that later whenever we get into it. And then we're going to put our commercial over here by the water. And yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I want to eventually, I'm going to turn this into a 6-lane road. But we don't have to do that yet. This will work as a placeholder. And off of that 6-lane road is going to be some arteries coming in to residential districts. Sorry, it's auto-saving. So we're going to come out 5. I think we're going to come out 6. We're going to come out 6 over here for our residential area. And then we're going to come down 3, I think, for right now. Now, again, I'm going to turn this into a 6-lane road later, but you don't want to waste the money on it now. But this is feeding this entire area, this highway roundabout, what will be a highway roundabout, and then that's going to come into a 6-lane road here, and this whole 6-lane road is pretty much your main artery for this entire area. Now, off of that, so you don't want a bunch of roads coming off of this, because this is the main artery feeding. So off of this, you don't want to have businesses, you don't want to have a lot of businesses, you don't want to have a lot of houses or a lot of roads. You want to kind of have main artery roads, secondary artery roads, which would be your 4 lanes, and then your actual roads. So coming off of this, we're going to go down, I think we're going to go down to the... Yeah, I think we're going to come down to the 2nd node here. We're going to go all the way down at parallel with that. And then we're going to come down off the last node here. And go parallel with that. Then we're going to come back and click on this. And we're going to add some houses over in this way. Now we don't want to connect to this again, because remember, that's our main artery. But we want to come close to it. So I think we're come to it there. And we're going to do the same thing here. And if we can, we're going to do the same thing here. Okay, and then we're going to go across with this. And we're just going to start our city. This is just a residential area. This will be low density residential. This will just be houses. And we're going to start this city on a grid. Eventually we'll get into some curvy roads and some windy roads, but right now we're just going to start it on a grid. Just because it's easy and it saves space. And with the houses, you're only getting, a few families per house. You're not making the same population that you would in the tile of a high density residential that you can get into later. So there's really no reason to do too much, especially whenever you're first starting out. Just a grid works, it gets the job done. So we've got that for our residential area. That's enough to start the game. And then we need to get into commercial, which I think we're going to put over here, and industrial, which we're going to put over here. So we're going to put the industrial over here, because when you first start the game, you only have regular industrial zones. These are Warehouses and factories and stuff like that. Sorry, not warehouses. You can add warehouses. These are local businesses in industrial park and factories. They provide jobs. However, they produce a lot of ground pollution, and they're not good for the environment. So I am going to start a industrial zone over here, but after we get our population big enough, and I can't even, yeah, you can't click yet, but in a little while after we unlock a few things, if you can go R1 or L1, we can unlock an agricultural specialization. And with all of this land here, this is all good farmland. So I'm going to start an industrial zone over here, but we are going to transfer that out over to agriculture once we can. But to start, we're going to go ahead and put, we're going to go ahead and put a 4-lane road, because eventually it'll have to be a 6-lane road. We're going to go ahead and put a 4-lane road, and we're just going to go up, let's just go up 3 for right now. Again, I'm going to change all this at a certain point, but for right now, we're just going to go up 3. And then we're going to come off of this. And so if you're coming off of, so the building area that you can build off of a road is these 4 tiles here, these 4 squares. Now, if you're coming off of a single road, or a 2-lane road, and you come out 10, that's perfect to get you a perfect match with that one. If you come off 11, or if you come less, then you're overlapping and you can't build on both sides of you can build on both sides of the street, but you can't get, you're not optimizing your space. However, if you're coming off of a 4-lane road, you want to come out a little bit more than 10. If you come 10, it doesn't give you enough. But if you come 11, then it gives you a perfect overlap of that grid. So we're going to do that for our industrial area. Again, we're going to change the entire industrial area once we have access to that. And we're going to come over and work on our commercial district. And our commercial district is going to move south from here, I believe. And I'll probably go down and reach, I'll probably click here, and then come over and do a 90-degree to that. But for right now, we're just going to come down probably 2, just to get us a little bit of space, just to start the game. I think we'll go 1 more. 10 more, I should say. Just enough to get us to start the game. Alright, so we've got a nice little set of roads. A little bit more money than I'd like to spend on the roads, but we've got a pretty good start here. So another thing to look at whenever you first start on a new map is to actually look at the elevation of all the land around. Like, for instance, this map here, you can see, you can see all of this in the middle is lowland. This is all floodplain, which is why it has good agriculture there. Yeah, so you can't see the middle. You can't see any of the roads that we built from the water, and vice versa. You can't see the water from any of the roads that we built, because all the land surrounding it is elevated higher. So if you get into building a hydroelectric dam or canals, or just doing any kind of land movement on the water, you need to be careful with something like this, because it could spill over and flood this entire area down here. All of this low land could just get flooded. But anyway, problems for later date. Right now we've got a nice little pattern for roads set up so far, so we're going to start this game, but first we need to get some utilities. So we need to get water and electric provided to our city. So with water, you've got the water pumping station. It costs $2,500. And it produces 120,000 a week. So you want to set that up next to the water to feed water to your city. However, you can see these little arrows here. So these arrows are the current and how the water is moving. So the water moves left to right on this map. And the bigger they are, the faster the current. The smaller they are, the less the current. And the no they are, the no the current. So none of this has current. And it's because if you go to the aerial map, so you've got a river here that's feeding down, and it's exiting over here. So it's completely bypassing this little gulf here off the peninsula. So that's why there's no water movement over here. So this is more of just like a little lake kind of movement. This is no movement at all. This is quiet little water. So you don't want to put your pumping station. Pumping station would be okay, but you definitely don't want to put your sewage stations out here. You want to put your sewage stations over here because you want the feces to get washed down the river. So one more thing to cover. You have two options for your sewage stations, your water drain pipes. You've got the standard option, and it drains the equal amount, 120,000, as the pumping station. Then you've got an eco station option, and it does half at 60,000. However, now neither of them say pollution. There's no pollution. That's because there's no ground pollution. But whenever you're using this water drain pipe, you can literally look into the river and you'll be able to see all of the feces getting washed down the river. It's just brown sludge. If you use the eco pumping station, it is more expensive, and it does cost a little bit more on electricity. This only takes 240 kilowatts per week, and this takes 480 kilowatts. So it takes more electricity, but it looks a lot better. I don't like seeing all the brown sewage water, so I don't mind spending the money on that. However, again, your pumping station is 120,000, and this is only 60. So you got to have two of these to match the pumping station. So we're going to put another one next to it, and then we're going to get our water pumping station. And we're not going to move it too far. And I should mention, these are temporary. These are not going to stay here. I'm going to move them eventually into a canal once we can, and hide them underwater. I'll show you that in the next episode, probably. And you never want to put your pumping station on this side of the sewage, because then you're pumping sewage into your residents' drinking water. You want to put it on this side. It needs to be up water from your sewage station. And you want to keep it a little bit far enough away. So if you were to put both of these over here, and the sewage station, there's no current, so all of this whole area of water would all turn into sewage, and then you'd be pumping in sewage water. But with a good flow and a good current, you don't necessarily have to be so far apart, but you don't want to put them right next to each other. So we're going to put it right there, I think. And then we're going to get some water pipes to connect them. And we're going to start feeding our town with sewage. Or with water pipes, sorry. So if you come over on the map and you go $460, then it pretty much overlays perfectly, and you cover the entire area. Now you can see there's a little bit here, but that's all still covered. That's just fine. So $460 is the magic number. That's what you want to shoot for. So we're going to come up to our industrial park with water. So $460. And then over. And then we need to get the commercial area. Okay, so we're going to build industry here, we're going to build residences here, and we're going to build commercial over here. And all of those are covered by water now. So then we just need to worry about electricity. Now there's a couple options with electricity. You can either use the coal power plant, or you can use wind turbine. Now the coal power plant produces a lot more electricity. It's 40 megawatts per week. However, it produces pollution, and it produces noise pollution. Now it's $560 upkeep a week, or one of these is $80 upkeep a week. However, this does not pollute in any way, except for noise pollution. It has a little bit greater noise pollution, but it has way less output for your power. You're only getting 0 to 8 megawatts for one of these. However, it's $6,000, so it's kind of a trade-off depending on how you want to go. Coal plant or coal plant or wind, your option. I prefer to just start with the wind. I prefer to try and keep all of my energies green. I also try and prefer to get my industries into green industries as well, whether that be forestry or agriculture or even office space. But whenever you're putting down, so I'm going to go with the wind turbine, and when you're putting down the wind turbines, this is the map of wind, and you can actually look at it in your main menu and your info views, and you can go down to this little windsock here, and it'll show you the wind. But when you're going to put a utility in, when you're putting one in, it shows you the map. And you can see you've got some good wind coverage here. You can get 8 megawatts on these darker areas all around the coast because it's got good wind. But the lighter it goes, the less wind you get and the less production you get. So this, 7, 6 megawatts, 5 megawatts, 4, 3, 2, was there 1 anywhere? Anyway, you get the gist. The lighter area is less production. I find that I normally move these because when you're first starting out, you only get $70,000, and you kind of build what you have to, and then you move it later. Although it costs you more money later, you suck it up, and that's what you do. So for right now, we're going to put it here, 8 megawatts, but we've got it where it connects to that, and we don't have to worry about power lines to connect to that. And we're going to put we're going to get 2 of these, and again, they cost $6,000 a piece, so I'm going to try and stretch it over to here. And yeah, so we're still connected. You can see the blue, that's where your electric is connected. So now, instead of making a run with power lines from here to power the 2 water pumping stations, I only have to make one from here to here, because I've got them close enough and organized to make a direct line. Now, we've still got $8,000, and we don't have much more to do. We may end up putting another one of these, but we have to see first how much we need. And actually, no, I don't think we're going to be able to. So we need to run power lines. So we're going to run a power line over to our water pumping station. And then we need to run power lines to our residential, our commercial, and our industrial. So we're going to start by running from here to here for the industrial. And we're going to run from here over to here for the residential. Now for the office, I'm going to pick this up here. Office. I keep saying office. I apologize. I mean commercial. For the commercial, we're going to run this over to here. And I think we're actually going to run it to this corner over here, if we can. That's not exactly what I wanted. That's not exactly what I wanted at all. Alright. We're going to run it to right there, and we're going to split it later. I'll explain what I'm talking about in a second. But now that gets us power to our commercial, our residential, and our industry. And we have got everything set up. We've got electric and we've got water. And we have roads. All we now need to do now is to start zoning some things, and we can hit play. But since we have $4,500 left, I'm going to do a few more roads. We're going to do one more. So again, if you come out 10, then you get an even line there, and you can cover all of that. So we're going to do a little bit more for the industrial. And, you know, I think we're going to do a little bit more for the commercial. Is that correct? No, that is not. But yeah, we're going to do just a little bit more for the commercial there. We'll get that later. So now we're down to $2,000. And I think I might put in one more row of residential. Oh, and there we go, not enough money. So we'll wait there. We've got $490. We've got water going, we've got electric. So now we just need to zone some things off. Now when you're zoning, so we have run, so obviously this entire area we want to make residential, but we don't want to do that right off the bat. We want to make just a very specific area residential. We want to come right next to this electric and get this electric to power the building that's closest. So if we do, you've got a couple options. You've got fill, you've got select, and then you've got brush. The brush, you just, boom, it just marks everything. Now, we don't want all of that marked, because if you do all of this marked, then someone builds a house way over here, and they're not anywhere close to the power. So then you've got to run an extra power line. And at that point, we won't have the money for that, and I'll show you what I mean later. So we're going to delete this. Now, there's two options to dezone something. You can either go to the dezone tool, and that'll do it. Or if you're just on a zone, you can just hit box and just delete it that way. You don't need to go to the dezone tool. So you've got your brush, which is a good tool in either large, medium, or small. And then you've got fill, which just covers the entire area. Boom. There you go. All of that is residential. And again, same, if you want to dezone it, just hit box, and you can take that out. But we want to just get a little piece over here. So we're going to hit select. We want to get a little piece over here, and this one corner house, I want to get power to. Then I can spread the power to all the other houses. But slowly you want to expand the zone and expand the zone and expand the zone. So we're going to start right there. And before we hit play, we're going to go to our main screen. We're going to go to economy. And we're going to mess with the budget a little bit. Because right now we're producing 100% of the electric, the water, and the roads. And we're going to turn all of this down. Because we don't need to be spending 100%. 50% is more than enough. So we're going to turn all of that down first. And then we're going to hit play. Now there's 3 speeds for play. You can pause the game, again, with the L3. Just press the L3 button and it'll pause the game, or play the game. When you pause it, it turns red and has a pause sign. And then you can adjust the speed of play. Now I'm going to pause it. You can adjust the speed of play by holding, and then it goes faster and faster, and you can go 3 times speed. Now I'm going to pause it because we did get our house here. So that means, if we go to our electric, you can see that's powered up. It has electricity coming from this. Now you can expand this residential zone a little bit bigger. And we're just going to get all of that. And then we'll get a few more houses in there. And once we get those full, then I'm just going to go to the fill tool and get that whole area. Now you can see in the bottom right hand corner the 3 bars, the green bar that is almost full, the blue bar that's empty, and the orange bar that's empty. The green bar is your residential. This is your This is your city needs. This is what they want. They want you to zone residential. We need people to move into this city. So now it's going down. Now that we've added some residential zone, it's going down. However, the people moving into the city are now saying, where are we going to go shopping and where are we going to work? So you can see the blue and the orange are growing because your commercial demand and your industrial demand is growing. You need more. The residential is going down. However, we're going to add some more residential first, and then we're going to go and add some commercial and some industrial. Now the industrial, again, we're going to go back to the select tool. The industrial, again, you want to come right off of this power line. You don't want to make this whole thing industrial and then have someone build way up here and then not have power. So you're going to start with putting it down here, just a little square, and same with your commercial, right where your power comes off. And actually, I'm going to go this way with that. We're going to do that. And I'm going to delete this rock here. That way we actually get the 4 full. And we're going to upgrade this street later, and it might destroy this, actually. I didn't realize that, but it's fine. We'll worry about that another day. Okay. So we're going to put another commercial building here. So we're going to let a couple commercial buildings go, and then we're going to put some more industrial over here. And let them go. And start getting some people some jobs and some places to shop. And then, once that demand goes down, once these businesses actually open, then you'll have more demand for your residential. Now, right now, all we have is low-density commercial, low-density residential, and low-density and industrial zones. So, high-density residential opens up at 5,500 population, and that's whenever you can start building big apartments. And then the same with the high-density commercial. That's whenever you start building tall shopping centers instead of just one-level little shops, mom-and-pop shops. And the option for your industry, after you get so far, is office building, office zones. So those are all the 5,500 landmark. We'll discuss those later. But for right now, you've only got those options. Very simple to start a city, but it makes sense. And we still have a demand for industry, so we're going to add some more industrial zones. I'm going to delete that rock. And we're starting to get a demand for residential again. And you can see all the people coming home to their houses. And there it is. We're starting to get electricity demands. So then we need to go back to our main menu and over to the economy. And back to our budget. Now, instead of being at 50%, we need to go up a little bit. How much do we need to go up? We don't know. So we're going to put it at 55%, and then I'm going to go to Info Views. Once you're on your Info Views, you can go up to your electricity, and it'll show you. Electricity consumption is 4 megawatts, and electricity production is 4 megawatts. But you can see it's bordering between 4 and 5 for consumption. So 55% is not enough. We're going to go back to the economy and raise the budget up to 60 and see where that sits. Now we're producing 5 megawatts. Now in the beginning you don't want to crank that up because as you can see in the bottom left hand corner, I'm going to slow this down. As you can see in the bottom left hand corner, we're losing money every week. We had what, 2,000, 2,200, something like that left before we hit play. And we're losing money every single week, spending money on roads and stuff like that. We're losing money every single week to the tune of $446 right now, every week. We are in debt $5,000. So we don't want to do too much, but we need to get the population up, because at this stage in the game, if you go to your economy screen, you can look at your taxes, but they're all locked at 9%. A little bit later, you can access those and you can raise the taxes and make a little bit more money, but right now they're all locked at 9%. So your income every week is on the right-hand side here. Your income every week is $712, and your expenses is $1,145. So you're still losing money at this point in the game, but you're just kind of waiting for things to catch up. So we're going to go back to Fast Play, holding the L3 button. And we're going to let the game catch up. Now, all we're waiting, we're going to get to the first milestone, and then we're going to end the episode. The first milestone is 320 population. Now, we're at 210, and we're going to play around with our zoning demands until we get our population right. Now, right now, you can see on the bottom right, the zoning demand, there's a little bit of residential, a little bit of industrial, and no commercial. We only have 2 commercial buildings over here, and there are no demands. Which is, that's fine, that's normal. You're going to have a lot more people that need to work and need to live than they do need to eat or go to a convenience store. Yeah, eat at the Big Bite restaurant or go to a convenience store. Now we're starting to get a little bit of demand, so we're going to come back down to our residential and open that up a little bit. And again, we're just going to go with the fill tool and let them move in down there. And with our industry demand, I don't want to put too much, because again, I'm going to delete all of this once we can get farmland here. So I don't want to put too much, but we have a huge demand, so I'm just going to go ahead and put all that. And hopefully that'll get us up to where we need to be, where we can convert all of it to farmland. Now we have problems with electric again. So we need to go over here to our budget, and we're going to turn that up again. I'm just going to go to 70 for right now, and you can go to info views, and you can double check. You can make sure. Alright, and we have reached the milestone of Little Hamlet. We have a population of 320 people. At this milestone, we have unlocked a few features. We've unlocked the adjustment of taxes, as I talked about, and you can now get bank loans. You can get 1 bank loan. We'll go over that in the next episode. The new services we've unlocked, we can now access garbage, healthcare, and education. We've unlocked some new buildings as well. For our garbage, you can see the little icon in the top left corner is a trash can. So for garbage, we've got landfill site, the first one there, and the 4th one, recycling center. For medical clinic, you can see the little healthcare icon. The only healthcare building we've unlocked is medical clinic. We haven't unlocked hospital yet. And for our education, it says education and campus area. We're not even close to campuses yet. We haven't even unlocked high schools yet. But we have unlocked an elementary school and a community school. Those are pretty much the same thing. I'll go over those in the next episode. But those are the milestones that we've unlocked at Little Hamlet. And we will discuss all of those over the next episodes. When we exit this, we're going to hit pause. And we're going to back out. And we are going to save the game and end the episode. Thank you very much for joining us here at CCSC. We appreciate it. Please like, share, and subscribe. It does wonders for the channel. And we will see you next week. Thank you very much.